The Senate will come to order. The senators will please take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privileges of the floor will please retire to the gallery. Good morning, senators. Good morning, guests. The senators and all in attendance, if you are able, please stand. We will be led in prayer this morning by Rabbi Neil A. Tao of Congregation Sha'er Shalom of Leesburg. Following the prayer, everyone will please remain standing, and we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America by our own Senate page, Yvonne Zhu of Charlottesville.
The psalmist sang, Zeh Hayom Asa Hashem. We give thanks to the source of creation, who has given us this day, this gift of time when the members of this assembly gather to do the work of the people of the Commonwealth of Virginia. We thank you for the gift of our life breath today, and for giving us a voice to represent the myriad voices of our constituents. We thank you for planting your divine image in each of us, that we may see this image in one another. And we ask you to infuse us with courage, insight, creativity, and hope. We thank you for the opportunity to be emissaries of loving kindness and justice, and to ask you to light our way, open our hearts to listen, and spur in us the yearning not to count our days, but to make each day count. Ish et re'ehu yazoru ula achiv yomar chazak, the prophet Isaiah said, may we help one another and lift each other up, saying, may you have strength this day and every day. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The clerk will call the roll. All those present, please vote aye. The clerk.
Did you ask Jonathan to come out?
Well, she can't vote me unless she's here, so the clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Madam President. Senate Journal for Tuesday, February 7th, 2023.
The senator from King George, Senator Stewart, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 4.
Ayes 36, noes 4. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the House of Delegates. Chair recognizes the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I would move now that we waive the reading of the communications from the House of Delegates.
The question is, shall the reading of the communication be waived? All those in favor of waiving the reading of the communication from the House of Delegates will please record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 4.
Ayes 36, noes 4. The reading of the journal is waived. The reading of the communication is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the governor.
I do not have any, Madam President.
We have now come to the time in our morning hour when we will hear who all of you beautiful people are. And the normal procedure is that your senator will rise and speak about you, and if you will rise at that time as well, and then I will make my remarks, and we will hold our applause until we hear who all of you are. And so, with that, I call on the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, excuse me. As you said earlier, the prayer today was offered by Rabbi Neil Tao from the congregation Sharei Shalom in Leesburg. He's also been involved a lot in the community there. He's on the executive board member of the Washington Area Board of Rabbis, liaison to the Jewish Community Relations Council, and co-chair of the Interrelation Committee. He's been a volunteer at Inova Loudon Hospital with the Spiritual Care Department. He's a member of the Jewish Coalition Against Domestic Abuse, and he's an adjunct teacher at George Mason University. And I would ask with that you please offer him the welcome of the Senate of Virginia.
Thank you again for coming, Rabbi. Thank you for that beautiful prayer. Thank you for the sacrifices that you no doubt make, and we understand that you're part of the hospital community there, and that is surely something that it's a great sacrifice. Thank you. Senators, let us give him the warm welcome of his Senate. Chair recognizes the gentlelady from Fauquier, Senator Vogel.
Good morning, Madam President.
Good morning.
I rise for purposes of 2 introductions.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. In the gallery this morning, I have visiting from Warrenton, Virginia, a very talented young woman who worked previously as an intern in my Senate office last summer. She was super smart and super bright and helped us and actually invented some processes that we should have had 15 years ago and we still use now. Her name is Ariane Maybach. She's a sophomore at Virginia Tech, a proud Hokie. She is the Vice President of Administration on the Student Council. She is also a sailor. She has sailed up and down the East Coast of the United States, and she is a aspiring student of politics, and I think is interested, and hopefully this is not the first time she'll visit our chamber. So I would like to ask you to please extend to her the very, very warm welcome of the Senate.
Good morning to you. I'm going to do more than extend the welcome of the Senate. I'm going to ask if you're available for an internship. 15 years? 15 years of processes, and you came up with it. Yes, we need you, surely. Thank you for being in that space, and thank you for being in leadership in your school. Senators, let us give her the warm welcome of her Senate.
Thank you, Madam President. I have one more additional recognition.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to introduce in the gallery Eric Maybach. He is the Fauquier County Commissioner of the Revenue, and if you were in finance this morning, you will note that there was a losing streak until he stood up and spoke on a bill, and then it got out unanimously. He is a tireless worker and super devoted to our local government, and he's here a lot and does a lot of advocacy. So I would love to welcome him and offer him the very warm welcome of the Senate.
And good morning to you as well, and thank you for being the money guy and for setting us straight. Thank you. Senators, let us also give him the warm welcome of his Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Somerville, the gentleman from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, hope you will get a chance today to meet with Justice Ford, the VA, DCL, and the VA and the NACDL, which is Justice Forward is a Virginia group of criminal defense lawyers been working on criminal justice reform. They're here today with the Virginia Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, and they're here with the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, lobbying us on behalf of the again the criminal justice reform community. You know, they've been active now for about, this is their 6th annual lobby day. They've been active and very successful, I would say, in helping to provide us advice reforming our criminal justice movement. They're a bunch of very passionate advocates for our Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and they're also good people. And Madam President, I would hope you would give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
I should say good afternoon now. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of, as we know, the criminal justice reform movement. And we know that America is the land of second chances, and thank you for helping to orchestrate that. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Suderline, the gentleman from Roanoke County.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to welcome back 2 old friends of ours that worked here at the General Assembly, serving the Roanoke Valley, New River Valley, and Southwest Virginia for several years. We've got Dan Webb, who used to work in Senator Smith's office with me, and then also in my office. And then Michael Walsh, who more recently worked 2 General Assembly sessions, including the COVID one, which was a very bizarre one. So that's like he was here a very long time. And I appreciate their service to the Commonwealth. They're no longer employees of the Senate. They are now both ended up at the same company, New York Life, which is only a block from my legislative office, so I get to see them a lot. But it's wonderful having these friends here today, and hope they'll get the warm welcome of the Senate.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming back and seeing if we're still keeping on, as they say, and we're still here, past crossover, as you know, and that was a doozy. But thank you, Senator, for the introduction, and Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Mason, the gentleman from Williamsburg.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I rise for the purpose of 2 introductions.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. The other day, I failed again to, on behalf of my colleagues, the Senator for Hampton and James City County. Both of these introductions are on their behalf as well, as we enthusiastically welcome today the Peninsula Agency on Aging. So a group led by Bill Massey and his team of great leaders, and 50 plus in number, 50 plus in age here, and advocating on behalf of all the myriad of aging issues and making themselves known. I also heard from the Attorney General today. So I had a big morning, Madam President. I hope you extend them the warm welcome to the Senate.
Good morning. Good afternoon to you. And as we heard the senator say, I think we need to repeat it, that you're advocating on the myriad of issues facing the aging community, and we thank you for pointing those out, because indeed we're all going to be there one day, and because of the foundation that you're building on, it'll be that much better for the rest of us. So thank you. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate.
A second introduction, Madam President.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, this is also a good segue, because we have 2 groups of students from Christopher Newport University. One group of students who are embedded with the Peninsula Agency on Aging team, who they're professors, an English professor, but it's civic engagement and civic involvement and working with the team from the Peninsula Agency on Aging. That's just a great combination. And then a class of criminologists that came to my office today advocating on behalf of bills they want us to see remain in place. And then we talked about some bills that we talked about last night that they're going to go back and look at. So, Madam President, the Christopher Newport captains are here with us again. I hope you extend them the warm welcome of the Senate.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you for being a part of the community on aging. As you know, you're also helping to build that bridge because we didn't get here by ourselves. Indeed, we had a generation come before us. So thank you for that. And criminologists, thank you for doing that as well. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Peake, the gentleman from Lynchburg.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The senator may say on.
Thank you. Today, I'd like to take a moment to recognize parents and concerned citizens who've driven in from all across the Commonwealth to participate in Parental Rights Advocacy Day, or as they call it, Mama Bear Day. This is sponsored by the Family Foundation of Virginia. For 37 years, the Family Foundation has fought tirelessly to protect and advance the rights of parents in our great Commonwealth. Thanks in no small part to the efforts of the Family Foundation of Virginia, 10 years ago, this body voted to amend the Virginia Code to read, "A parent has a fundamental right to make decisions concerning the upbringing, education, and care of the parent's child." Today, the parents are wearing blue in the gallery are here to express their support of legislation that affirms these cherished parental rights and that make clear exactly how these rights should be respected in the classrooms and in the public school libraries. Please join me in welcoming the parents and concerned citizens who are here with the Family Foundation of Virginia.
I know he said mama bears, but I think I see some papa bears too. Thank you for all that you do. And so you're the ones who are responsible for helping to bring that legislation to us on parental rights in our great Commonwealth. Thank you for that. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes the senior senator from Richmond, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, and I hope that the gentleman from Fairfax City listens very closely to this introduction because we have the defending champion justices, the John Marshall High School men's basketball team, and their coach, Mr. Ty White, joining us in the gallery. They are the defending champions and have a record of 20-0 and are ranked as the #2 team in the country by Max Preps. They were formerly #1 as recently as January and ranked 13th in the country by ESPN. And they most recently won the Chick-fil-A Classic in South Carolina. To the justices, we have a pretty important basketball game coming up, which you may hear from the gentleman from Fairfax City, as we will have a basketball classic of our own, and hopefully one day you will be playing in that as member, at least one of you as a member of this body, hopefully not the body down the hall. So I ask that we give them a warm Senate welcome.
Good. Good morning, team. Yes, and congratulations. I'm looking at a group of winners, and we know that you're not just winners on the field, but off the field in your studies as well. We need you there to continue doing great things. And thank you, Coach. Thank you. And senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator McDougall, the gentleman from Hanover.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. In the gallery today, celebrating Recovery Advocacy Day, we have a group from the Virginia Alliance of Recovery Residences. They are here to advocate on behalf of fighting substance abuse disorder and mental health disorders. They've been very active over the years, Madam President, and have worked hard to establish state certification of recovery homes and continue to support recovery residences throughout the Commonwealth to make sure that they are safe, stable, and sober housing for those in need. Madam President, we all know that substance abuse disorder is very challenging for many Virginians, and we've lost many lives over the years. And we're happy to have this group here to advocate for policies, initiatives that combat that substance abuse disorder and support those families. If you could offer them the warm welcome of the Senate.
Good afternoon. What a great work you are doing by helping to provide recovery spaces, a place where we can get well. Thank you for that. Indeed, it is very necessary. Thank you very much. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Deeds, the gentleman from Charlottesville.
Madam President, I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I'm pleased to announce that there's a group in the gallery from Charlottesville, from the People's Coalition and FAR. They advocate for housing, criminal justice reform, public safety, and a lot of other issues. I hope you'll extend to them the warm greetings to the Senate.
Good morning to you. There you are. There you are. Thank you for coming, and thank you for being a part of our legislative process. Indeed, we need to hear from you and those issues that concern you. Otherwise, we won't know. You are the experts. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Cosgrove, the senior senator from Chesapeake.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an in absentia introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, today is my Chief of Staff, Christy Craig's 60th birthday. Now, she's not really. Don't tell her I said that. But it is Christy's birthday. She's not anywhere close to that. But let me tell you a little bit about Christy. Christy has been with me since I was first elected in 2001. And you know, she has quite a background. She's a master deputy when I stole her away from the city of Chesapeake. She was a member and a chairwoman of the Chesapeake School Board. Her husband, Merrill Craig, many of you will remember, worked for the Capitol Police for many years, and he's retired now, enjoying his life. Like I said, she's been with me when I was first elected in 2001, and has been up here trying to keep me straight for 23 years. Sue, my wife, and I consider Christy one of our very, very best friends. No, belay that. Christy is family to us. We love her so much. She's a wonderful person, a great wife, a real mama bear, and even a more spectacular yaya. And that's yaya even to my granddaughters. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you get to see Christy today, you really can't miss her. She's wearing a gold tiara, all right, or something that says, it's my birthday. Please wish her the happiest of birthdays from all of us. Thank you, Madam President.
We do wish her a happy birthday, and I remember 22 years ago now when we came in together and we would ride back in the dark after session for the weekends. And there was Christy. Senators, let us give her the warm welcome of her Senate in absentia. Chair recognizes Senator Hackworth, the gentleman from Tazewell.
Madam President, I rise for the purpose of an introduction. I don't have a green sheet because they are actually watching from Senate Room 3.
All right, Senator, you may continue.
Madam President, we have the Macy McClarty School with us here on the Capitol grounds, and that consists of grades pre-K through 7th with approximately 530 students. Macy McClarty is located in the Central District of Giles County, which I share with Senator from Roanoke over there, Senator Edwards, and is home to the Macy Tiger. Macy's motto is, "It's always a great day to be a Macy Tiger." Macy McClarty Robotics team placed top 10 in the Technosphere competition in Hampton, Virginia in 2022. Students at Macy are preparing to participate in the 2023 Technosphere Robotics competition as well as other events which will be held in May. And so I would ask you to give them a warm reception and welcome of the Senate, and they are watching from Senate Room 3. Thank you, Madam President.
To our Senate Room 3, Mary McClarty School, we have justices, tigers, and bears. Oh boy. Thank you for doing so well in school, and thank you for being here and watching us. And we hope that you'll come back here one day as a possible senator. Take care. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Reeves, the gentleman from Spotsylvania.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, in the gallery today, you'll see 3 youth that are in beige uniform, and they are part of our National Guard Challenge program. And Madam Chair, these young individuals I had the opportunity to speak with. They were at the GAMVIC committee this morning, the caucus this morning, and they are top of their class and soon to graduate and have aspirations that I think are just amazing, especially when you get a chance to sit down and talk about where they were and where they are today. And I would just like to give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
You have come through much, and you know what that means? It means you're overcomers. You don't let the challenges in life that you've faced get you down. And you've only just begun this road. You must continue. You must excel. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Is there any other business for the morning hour? Hearing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Senate calendar for Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. Uncontested calendar, Senate bill on second reading. Senate Bill 800, a bill relating to appropriations. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Chair calls on Senator Howell, the senator from Northern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. Pursuant to Senate Rule 23A, I move that Senate Bill 800 be made a special and continuing order at the conclusion of the Senate calendar on Thursday, February 9th, 2023.
The question is, shall Senate Bill 800 be made a special and continuing order at the conclusion of the Senate calendar on Thursday, February 9th, 2023? All in favor of agreeing to the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The special and continuing order is set for Senate Bill 800 at the conclusion of the Senate calendar on Thursday, February 9th, 2023.
Madam President.
Chair again recognizes Senator Howell.
Thank you, Madam President. Now I move that we pass Senate Bill 800 by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Bill 800 goes by for the day. Chair recognizes again the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I would ask the clerk, does that complete the calendar for today?
Yes, sir.
You mean we can't stay on the floor for 8 more hours?
No, sir.
Okay.
Chair recognizes Senator Locke, the gentlelady from Hampton.
Madam President, I rise on a point of personal privilege.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, February 1st marked the beginning of Black History Month. It is fortuitous that it was the day of Tyree Nichols' funeral in Memphis, Tennessee. Tyree is a 29-year-old man killed by police officers in that city. Why fortuitous? Because the 2023 theme for Black History Month is Black resistance. This theme highlights how African Americans have resisted historic and ongoing oppression in all forms, especially the racial terrorism of lynching, racial pogroms, and police killings since our arrival on these shores. Black people have sought ways to nurture and protect Black lives and fight for the autonomy of the physical and intellectual bodies of Black people through armed resistance, voluntary immigration, nonviolence, education, literature, sports, media, legislation, and politics. I would like to focus on education as one of the ways Black people have resisted. However, let me begin with just a little background on Black History Month. Carter G. Woodson was born December 19, 1875 in New Canton, Virginia, the son of former slaves. He started high school at age 20, eventually being educated at Berea College in Kentucky, the University of Chicago, and was the second African American to earn a PhD from Harvard. In his determination to convince the general public to embrace the past, including the dark chapters on slavery and segregation, so the African American experience would take its rightful place in history books, Dr. Woodson founded Negro History Week. This has now evolved into Black History Month. Interestingly, Dr. Woodson's idea from the 1920s seems to fly in the face of the current anti-woke movement in which we find ourselves today. But I digress. Each year, the organization founded by Dr. Woodson, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, develops a theme for Black History Month. As stated earlier, the 2023 theme is Black Resistance. Education, whether elementary, secondary, or higher education institutions, have played a pivotal role in the way Black people and communities have resisted the narrative that we are somehow intellectually inferior. Let me focus specifically on historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, as they emerge as a space for the formation of activists, artists, business owners, and educators. Furthermore, students at HBCUs were at the forefront of the Civil Rights Movement, Black Power movement, and social justice movements from the 19th to the 21st centuries. I'd like to share the role that Virginia Union University students played at making a change right here in Richmond. More than 200 students and faculty marched from their campus to Richmond's downtown shopping district on February 20, 1960. The group sat in at lunch counters where they were denied service but refused to leave their seats until the stores closed. They conducted a second sit-in on February 22nd, expanding to include an upscale restaurant called Thalheimer's Richmond Room. Students were refused access to the fourth floor tea room, at which point some minor pushing and shoving occurred. 34 of the students refused to leave and were arrested for trespassing. The students were verbally abused and scalded with hot coffee. The students, 11 women and 23 men, ranging in age from 18 to 23, were released on a $50 bond. The arrest of these students led to the formation of the Campaign for Human Dignity Richmond by Virginia Union University students, Black high school students, and other members of anti-segregation community. They organized boycotts and picketing of segregated establishments in downtown Richmond. Due to a great economic loss, establishments decided to desegregate by January of 1961. However, full desegregation did not come until the end of the decade, culminating with the election of a Virginia University alum, L. Douglas Wilder, as the first African American to fill a Virginia Senate seat since Reconstruction. By resisting, Black people have achieved triumphs, successes, and progress, as seen through the sit-ins and protests of students at HBCUs like Virginia Union. Resistance brings change. It's not about being woke. It's, as Dr. Woodson said back in the 1920s, having the African American history story told and taking its rightful place in the history books. Thank you, Madam President.
I thank the Senator. Chair recognizes Senator Peterson, the gentleman from Fairfax City.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for two announcements and a point of personal privilege.
The senator has the floor.
First announcement, if Fairfax County senators could meet briefly back at my desk after we adjourn today, I think there's a minor item we need to discuss. Secondly, on a lighthearted note, tonight is the Virginia Press Association dinner. Will be at 7 p.m. at the Capitol Ale House, and the talent portion will be featuring our own senator from city of Chesapeake, and he may find another member of this body who might take him on with another song. But please, if you can make that Virginia Press Association, that's 7 p.m. tonight. Thank you, Madam Chair. If I might proceed to my point of personal privilege.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not the oldest member here, not by a long shot. I've been here 16 years, and all in 22 years since I was first elected to the House, the same class as you were, Madam President, and Senator. There's a couple other folks there, including Senator Cosgrove. I don't think I've ever seen what I saw last night, and it was tough. And I'm not blaming anybody because I don't think any of us saw that train wreck about to happen. But let me just say that I've always taken great pride in this body that we don't mention the names of private citizens unless it's in a complimentary space. And I think that's important because they're not here to defend themselves. And the door, unfortunately, was opened, and I'm not going to say, we say as trial attorneys, once the door's open, it's hard to close it. But we discussed the merits of candidates for boards and commissions in a very, very frank and candid way that it might seem ordinary to some state bodies. I'd never seen it done here before. And let me just make a point. Maybe it's obvious, but it needs to be made to the public. The people that put themselves forward, whether it's a cabinet secretary, whether it's a board or commission, in almost all cases, it's a decision of an economic sacrifice and a sacrifice of time. Oftentimes, it's a volunteer position. And I'm not saying we rubber stamp the governor's appointments. Not a chance. We have discretion to make decisions, and I voted against some of those appointments last night, and that's our decision. But to have the merits talked about on the floor was a little bit jarring to me. And I'll just give you an example. One of the people that was on the floor was one of my constituents. And I had called that person and let them know I was not going to support them, and I gave the rationale, and they were not happy, but it was what it was. But I just felt like the conversation got a little out of control last night. And again, I'm not blaming anybody. I don't think there should have been any conversation. But I just will tell you, I have a fantasy. Maybe it's not a fantasy, but, I'm not going to be here forever. And none of us are. And there might come a time that our name's on that floor, or maybe the name of our spouse, or maybe the name of one of our children. And I just beg you to keep that in mind before we have what happened last night. I'm begging both sides, okay? Let's try and keep the dignity of these people that, again, are putting their names forward. And I'm not asking anyone to do anything, but let's try and keep their dignity intact. And, again, I would simply commend that to the body, and I thank you. I apologize for trespassing on your time. Thank you.
I thank the senator. Thank him indeed. Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Hearing none, the clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
First of all, we have reminders of the budget process deadlines for today. All floor amendments to the budget bill must be drafted by the Finance and Appropriations staff to be submitted to the front desk by 5 o'clock this afternoon. Also, if senators would submit a list of those amendments or items that they plan to remove from the block to the front desk by 5 o'clock this afternoon. And you can email Nathan or Michael. And that information is on your pink sheet from yesterday. If anybody has any questions, please let us know, and we will help you with that. Also, please bring your budget amendments that were passed out yesterday. Please bring them for tomorrow. We will not have additional sets of amendments for tomorrow. Meetings today, Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. The Committee on General Laws and Technology will meet 15 minutes after adjournment in Senate Room 3 in the Capitol. This is a time change. The Committee on the Judiciary will meet 1/2 hour after adjournment in Senate Room A in Pocahontas. Tomorrow, Thursday, February 9th, 2023, The Committee on Education and Health will meet at 8 o'clock a.m. in Senate Room A in Pocahontas. The Democratic Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 1 in the Capitol. The Republican Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 2 in the Capitol.
The chair calls on Senator Lucas, the gentlelady from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 12 noon on tomorrow.
The question is, shall the Senate adjourn until 12 o'clock noon tomorrow? All in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The Senate stands adjourned until 12 noon tomorrow.